Good evening, folks. Tonight's headlines are a mix of tragedy, chaos, and international stupidity. Here's what we've got. A school shooting in Minneapolis during Sunday Mass leaves 2 kids dead and 17 injured. Massive protests erupt in Israel as families of Gaza captives block highways and airports. Russia decides Kyiv hasn't suffered enough and launches one of its biggest missile and drone attacks yet. Denmark summons the U.S. envoy over alleged Greenland espionage, because spying on glaciers is apparently top priority. And in Australia, police are still hunting down the suspect in a fatal officer shooting as the manhunt enters its second day. So yeah, grab a drink, or 5, because this lineup is basically the world on hard mode. Minneapolis school shooting. In Minneapolis, tragedy struck at what should have been the safest of places, a church service. A gunman opened fire during Sunday Mass, killing 2 students and injuring 17 more. Yes, that's right, kids. Because in America, no setting is sacred enough to stop bullets, not even a place where people are supposed to be praying. Police have not yet released the shooter's identity, but witnesses say panic broke out instantly as parents shielded children and congregants scrambled for cover. Medical teams rushed in to stabilize victims while authorities evacuated the area. Now, of course, officials are offering their thoughts and prayers, which in American political language means, "We'll see you at the next shooting." If it feels like the script never changes, that's because it doesn't. Same tragedy, different town, same hollow responses. And speaking of places where people can't catch a break, let's fly halfway across the world to Israel, where instead of bullets flying, it's rage that's in the air. Protests in Israel. In Israel, massive protests are shaking the country as families of Gaza captives take their anger to the streets. Highways were blocked, airports were jammed, and police had their hands full trying to control thousands of furious demonstrators demanding answers. These are the families of hostages. Men, women, and children still trapped in Gaza as the war rages on. Their message? The government isn't doing enough. They want action, accountability, and for once in the history of politics, actual results. Prime Minister Netanyahu is under fire, again accused of dragging his feet while the clock ticks on the lives of captives. Protesters chanted, waved banners, and in some cases clashed with police, forcing major travel routes to shut down. If you thought your morning commute was bad, imagine explaining to your boss, "Sorry I'm late. Democracy exploded in the streets." And while Israel is dealing with protesters, Russia is busy reminding us why it holds the gold medal in international villainy. Russia's major missile and drone attack. In Kyiv, Russia just turned the skies into a fireworks show from hell, launching one of the largest missile and drone attacks in months. Air raid sirens wailed, residents scrambled underground, and Ukrainian defense forces did their best to intercept the incoming barrage. Russia claims it's targeting military infrastructure, but somehow hospitals, schools, and apartment buildings keep ending up on the collateral damage list. Weird coincidence, huh? The attack comes as peace talks are still being dangled like a carrot on a stick, but Putin's message is pretty clear. I'll keep bombing you, but feel free to keep begging me for peace. At this point, Russia's basically that ex who says they've changed while setting your car on fire. And while Ukraine deals with bombs, Denmark is dealing with binoculars. Because apparently the U.S. might have been spying on Greenland. Yes, Greenland, the land of ice, snow, and, well, that's it. Denmark summons U.S. envoy over Greenland spying. Denmark has summoned the U.S. ambassador after allegations surfaced that Washington was snooping around Greenland, which raises the question, why? What are they hoping to find? A top-secret igloo lab? A Viking treasure chest under the ice? Or maybe the U.S. still thinks they can buy Greenland like Trump once suggested and decided espionage was the next best thing. Officials in Copenhagen called it a breach of trust, while U.S. reps gave the usual "we don't comment on intelligence matters" shrug. So yeah, Greenland, the place everyone forgets exists, has just become the newest Cold War hotspot. Literally cold. And finally, let's head to Australia. Because if there's one thing scarier than kangaroos boxing tourists, it's a cop killer on the loose. Australia police manhunt. In Australia, police are still hunting for the suspect behind a fatal shooting that left 2 officers dead. The gunman, identified by authorities, remains on the run as the manhunt stretches into its second day. Roads are blocked, helicopters are circling, and entire communities are on edge as heavily armed units scour rural areas. Locals have been told to stay indoors, lock their doors, and basically pray the suspect doesn't show up in their backyard. The tragedy has sparked national outrage, with leaders calling it a brutal attack on law enforcement. And yet, here we are, another violent fugitive story dominating the headlines. Another reminder that chaos doesn't exactly respect borders. For now, Australia watches and waits, while police warn the public. If you see him, don't play hero, just call the cops. This isn't the kind of guy you want showing up at your barbecue. So to recap, kids can't even pray in peace in Minneapolis. Israel's streets look like a democracy traffic jam. Russia's back at its favorite hobby, war crimes. Denmark's upset about spy games in the Arctic. And Australia's got a manhunt straight out of an action movie. Sleep well, planet Earth. You've really outdone yourself this week.